Welcome back, everybody. Final lesson of interactions among living things. We're looking at today at the idea of symbiosis. And our question that guides us today tells us that there are three different types of symbiosis. Now, before we even jump into it, I want to call attention to the fact that right here, we see the root bio. Once again, bio means life. So we know without going any further that symbiosis has to do something with life. Okay? You may have heard of words with the root sim. Symmetry would be a good one where things are the same, right? So same life, question mark? Let's dive in and let's learn a little bit. So when we're talking about symbiosis, we're talking about two organisms that live together closely. And at least one of those organisms is benefiting. So now you can start to see, okay, so we're talking same life. Well, we have two things living together and helping one. Okay, it's not a perfect science, but it at least helps gets us in the park. So today we're going to talk about mutualism, commensalism, and parasitism. Parasitism should sound familiar. Anyways, jumping in. So mutualism will be the idea that we're going to be friends forever. It is mutually beneficial for these two species to work on each other or work with each other. Great example is a hummingbird. A hummingbird pollinates flowers. The hummingbird eats the pollen, but then the flower gets pollinated, which allows it to reproduce. So as the hummingbird comes here and eats the pollen, and then it comes over here and it eats this pollen, pollen from flower A has been transferred to flower B. That right there is called pollination, which is what plants need to reproduce. So hummingbird is getting fed, flowers is getting pollinated, which allows them to reproduce. We'll be friends forever. There's a video you can totally watch on your own. It's from an amazing TV show called Scrubs, in which they all sing and dance and talk about how they're going to be friends forever. On the other hand, we have the idea of commensalism. Now, this is really hard to find examples of in nature. Okay? Sometimes I feel like teachers and students have a commensalism relationship in the sense that I benefit because I'm, teaching you and getting paid, whereas you're not being affected because you're staring off into space or playing video games like you're doing right now. Stop playing video games and listen to me. I'm the star. I'm teaching you science. Anyways. In nature, the best example of this is a tree, okay? The idea behind commensalism is that I get something, but you stay the same. And we see this with birds. Birds build their nests high up in the trees to protect them from different prey, okay? A lot of little critters would like to eat those birds and those eggs. So the bird builds it high in the tree. Now, the tree doesn't benefit by a nest being built there. It's completely indifferent to it. So the birds benefit, but the tree is not affected. It just stays the same. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Our last type of symbiosis is called parasitism. I want to suck your blood. It's the idea of a parasite. Vampire bat was the one that always jumped to my mind first. In parasitism sounds like the word parasite. And if you thought that, you're right, because we're going to be talking about parasites and hosts. Parasitism is a relationship that involves one organism getting some sort of advantage and the other getting a disadvantage. It may be living on the other creature. It may be living in the other creature. If you want to be completely grossed out, look at pictures of heartworms or tapeworms. Ugh, but those are parasites. The parasite causes the harm and gets the benefit at the expense of the host. The host suffers, but usually does not die. And why might you think that be? Why would the parasite leave the host alive? Well, it goes to there, and we can look at this in the table below. Species A, our parasite, go away. Our parasite is receiving a benefit. If the host dies, is the parasite going to get that benefit anymore? Well, no, it's not. So that's why when we have cases of fleas or lice or bed bugs or lots of just nasty stuff all together, right? They're very uncomfortable. They're very painful in some cases. And it's not something that you necessarily want to deal with, but it's not likely to kill you because those parasites need the host to survive. If you ever want to read a book that talks about parasitism and is really good, is a book series that came out when I was a kid. It's called Animorphs. These kids turn into animals and they fight evil alien parasites that come in, and they're little slugs that wrap yourselves around their brain and then they take control of you. It was really good. It was a good series. It was like 30 books. Anyways, Animorphs. Check it out. With that wraps up our lesson on how living things interact together. We have adaptations that make certain animals or organisms, compete or sometimes eat. We have things living together nicely, and in the case of parasitism, not so nicely. Have a great day. Talk to you later.